Oh, hi, is that Martika?
Hello? Yes.
Hi, this is Levi calling from Sticks to Stones in Brisbane, Australia. How are you going?
I'm good, Levi. How are you?
Well, I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good.
How are all the interviews going for you so far? Do you enjoy doing these sort of days where you got to take time out of your day to speak to a lot of random people on the phone?
It's just a part of the job. I mean, sometimes some of you are nicer than others.
Okay, well, hopefully I can be one of the nice ones.
It's up to you. No, I'm just messing with you. It's good. It's all good. I really do appreciate the opportunity to promote the tour.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really awesome. I've been listening to a few of the acts that are coming through, and I really like some of the stuff. Stacey Q and Katrina and the Waves in Berlin. I talked to Terry the other week, and she was lovely. You're looking forward to it? Are you fans of, some of these contemporaries that you'll be playing with?
Oh, absolutely, sure. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I haven't met any of these artists, so it's going to be really cool to meet everybody and to travel around your amazing country. I mean, I've only been to Sydney and Melbourne, so, I get to really see a lot more on this journey there. Very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. You said you've been to Sydney and Melbourne. Did you perform there, or was that just visiting?
Well, I went to promote both of my albums, so but I only got to do a lot of promotional stuff, so I didn't really get a chance to do my live set. This will be my first time actually doing concerts there.
Okay, awesome. That would be great to see. I know in 2012 you were working on a new album called The Mirrorball. Can we expect any new songs?
Well, there is one record out from that project called Flow with the Go, if anybody wants to hear it. This particular tour is, because it's a retro tour, it's really focused on the hits from back in the day. So they just asked me to sing, the hit records from my first two albums. So I'll be doing a set of Martika's Kitchen, I Feel the Earth Move, Love Thy Will Be Done, More Than You Know, and Toy Soldiers.
Yeah, a lot of those songs when they came out, I was very young. I think I was 4 years old, but they're very big, and I still remember them now, and they're still played all over the radio. What was that period like? Just being super famous for a few years, and you kind of stepped away from it. Was it overwhelming at all?
Oh, absolutely, very overwhelming. Plus, I was a kid. I was just a teenager, so it was wow, I wasn't quite prepared for all of that. But obviously, you want to, be well received and everything. And I was really excited that people were digging my music and everything. But I just think the pace and the jet set lifestyle, and I didn't really grow up that way, so I really didn't know what to expect. And so processing all of that was a lot, at the time. But I'm just really grateful that I had the opportunity to do so much cool stuff at such a young age, and to still be remembered at this point, and, to be invited to participate in a tour like this is really, really cool for me. So I'm super happy that I can, get on stage and sing and dance and have this really cool material to share with everybody still.
Mm-hmm. Do you find it less overwhelming now? Have you kind of come to accept that, you're famous and touring the world and, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's not the same, as being in the machinery in that way. It's completely different now. So to me, it's just a really cool adventure to be able to go and do this. As I don't really, I'm not out in the system constantly all the time, and everybody's face taking up a whole lot of space, and, annoying everybody with everywhere I turn, I see Martika, oh, stop. So I don't feel like that. I think that it's kind of cool, and just being able to sort of pop in on y'all a little bit now is pretty nice. It's not as much pressure at all. And I still feel the same way about when showing up, in terms of professionalism and everything, and plus being on stage is just, I've grown up doing music and singing and dancing all my life, so it's something that, is still my favorite thing in the world to do for a living. So it's awesome that I can get up there and do it. So I always bring more than 100% to the table when I show up. So that hasn't really changed. I still have a lot of energy and passion about it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm going to be at the show, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I know you'd be getting this question a bit, and I know you worked with Prince on your second album, and it's just so sad, that news, because I was always a big fan of his music, and it's just so iconic and such an amazing musician. What was it like working with him? Because I talked to Terry Nunn the other week. She worked with him a little bit and said he was very lonely and kind of reclusive. What was your impression of him, and what was he like to work with?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that she said he was lonely and reclusive, because my work experience with Prince was basically long distance. I mean, I actually did not go in the studio and record with him. I left him with some of my lyrics, and then I went home, and then, he went in the studio and worked on adding music to that, and then I got in LA, I received from Paisley Park some stuff he had done there with his crew. Some of the musicians that worked on production with him had played on some stuff. And then I went in the studio with, people that I was working with and finished everything out like that. So I really didn't have the opportunity to, actually collaborate with him, in person. So, yeah, it was just a kind of an interesting long-distance way to work. But, in the end, it was just, I love, what came from it. But I don't have any fabulous Prince stories about, studio habits or whatnot.
Okay, fair enough. Also, recently, a few years ago, actually, Eminem used a sample from your song Toy Soldiers. Just wondering what you thought of his interpretation of that song.
Yeah, really cool. I really like what they did with it. I thought it was really cool take, and the way they sampled the chorus with the kids choir singing, and with the snare drum and that hip hop groove around that. I just really thought it was very cool.
Yeah, for sure. I know you're still, you're still working on new music. How has your taste in music changed over the years? Is it quite different to what you're listening to back in, the early 90s?
Oh, yeah. I guess I kind of went through phases. Like growing up, I listened to, pretty much was kind of taking in what people around me and my family were listening to. My family loved music, so like my parents were into like their thing and my brothers were into their thing, but I just was into like top 40, I loved pop music, and I liked rock, and, then later, like in the 90s, I sort of went backward and started listening to stuff that had been before me, or like from the 60s, and then I started going, into stuff that I had missed. So, and then getting away from like the pop mainstream so much, then I started listening to all kinds of things. I'm just got a really eclectic taste, and I'll listen to everything, anything, any kind of genre, you know what I mean? Like from any time, I like gravitate toward, I like songs and, listening to interpretations of things, but in like a lot of different musical styles, so yeah, I just love music, and I love to hear music from all different parts of the world and from different eras.
Yeah, for sure. I know kind of the mainstream music has changed a lot since the early 90s. What do you kind of think of the new wave of pop stars like Beyonce and Adele and Taylor Swift, those kind of people?
I just don't know how they keep up the pace of it all, to be honest with you. They work hard, those girls. I got to hand it to them. And, being on the world stage, you know, just to pull it off. I've always been the type of person that gives a lot of respect to anyone who gets up on the world stage because it takes a lot of courage to stand up in front of people and, you know, do your thing. And, you know, so, you know, if it's going to have your haters or whatnot. And, you know, I just think if you can get up there and you just try to make people happy, then go on with it, you know. I'm real supportive of artists.
Would you ever want that experience again? If you did bring out another song, would you want another, you know, number one hit that was, you know, topping the charts for weeks on end?
Well, you know, I mean, I don't think any singer would, you know, say that you wouldn't enjoy to have a hit record. Of course, that would be, you know, great, but you know, I just don't really expect that out of life, and, you know, times change, and I know that so much of it has to do with being in that machinery and, you know, working that with all of what that takes with the publicity and the promotion and the radio and the, you know, it's just a lot, you know. So I don't really expect to have like a number one record again, but, you know, hey, you just never know how things happen. That's what's so much fun about show business. It's just, things can happen, like, you know, all of a sudden an opportunity or a collaboration, and you just never know. So we'll see what happens with me. But I'm just happy that I can still, you know, love music and make music and be able to sing and dance and get up on stage, and that people still want to see me do it. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's actually all the questions I've written down. But you know, I'm going to be at the show in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be taking photos and, you know, having a good time. So I wish you all the best. I hope the tour goes amazing for you.
Thank you so much. Well, I do appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, and hopefully I'll get a chance to meet you at the show.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you very much, Martika.
All right. Thanks again, and you have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.